that brings up the viral sensation, Mr. Oliver Anthony, Men North of Richmond.
Yes.
And
yes.
And just how much this one guy from Farmville, Virginia, not too terribly far away from where we've been known to frequent.
That's right.
Has become just an overnight because people have grasped onto the song. Now, of course, you've got these left-wing magazines and stuff like Variety now is talking about Oliver Anthony's Men of North Richmond is an instant smash among conservatives. Come on, man. It's more than just conservative. I've seen plenty of videos of non-conservatives listening to this song and saying, wow. And progressives all of a sudden are wondering if he's a plant. and like, this is how it is, man. This is how it is. I've heard this guy talk. If he's a plant, boy, he is very, very good at what he does.
Yeah.
Because, it's just, but it's just it's just the lyrics to his song and just how they've resonated with everybody. And they listen to it like, man, I'm working all these hours and, for BS pay and you're taxing me and you're doing this and it's
people taking advantage of the government of government programs and welfare and all these things.
That's exactly it, man. Like it's just the timing of this song and everything that's going on. And I guess I can understand why maybe people think like, hey, this might be a plant,
right.
But this is what people are looking for. This is like and he calls himself a down the middle guy. Like he considers himself a conservative. Like he's not one way or the other.
No. He's a moderate for sure. He says he's dead down the middle. I mean, who knows what all of his views are, but in general, he says he's dead down the middle. He hasn't been supportive of conservatives wanting to go to war and all these types of things. He hasn't been supportive of liberal, policies financially and different things. I mean, like that's the thing. There is room for nuance. We talk about it on the show all the time. Like why, like right away, you have a guy like that, right? And so it's so funny that you bring this up, right? So this Oliver Anthony thing, I did not know who Oliver Anthony was. I saw Oliver Anthony. I found it. I sent it out to, on our group chat because I just thought the song was interesting. I'd never heard of the guy before, didn't know anything about him. And then, it's just like you start seeing more and more and more and more stuff. And so it went from, I've, found some video that like no one had seen, no one heard of the guy. Next thing you know, dude's got the #1 song on iTunes. And I think he had 3 of the top 10 songs on iTunes.
Yep.
And it just absolutely exploded. Now, okay. Why would that be? It's because no matter what, it's about authenticity.
There you go.
And when you see someone, you hear someone, you recognize that someone is authentic, you gravitate to it. Then the next thing that happens is people then have to label it.
100%.
People have to figure out, well, what does he fit into? What box do we put him in? Oh, well, he's got a beard. He's in Virginia. There are trees in the background of his of the thing that he shot of him singing.
Yeah.
He's got to be conservative. He's got to be super right wing. He's got to be a huge Trump supporter. He's got to be this. Oh, well, you know what? He mentioned welfare. These are all racist dog whistles that are put into these songs that, that rile people up. What? He talked about obesity.
Yeah.
How is that racist? How at its core is that possible? Like, it's just, you have to make this stuff make sense. Then you look at it and you go, okay, now we're saying if a guy like this comes out who is talented and who's just trying to put out his own music, literally people were saying, you got to put this on Spotify. I can't find you here and there. And he's like, guys, I don't know how to do that. I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know. I'm not a musician guy. I'm not on a record label. I don't know how to load stuff up on this stuff. I'll try to figure it out. Right now, you're already seeing the things like you talked about. It becomes suspicion. It becomes, how do we categorize him? what's wrong? What's this about? And I guarantee you then it's going to be people digging into his past and trying to find something. And like,
that's it.
It's like, why can't you just listen to say, oh, I like that dude. He's got a good voice, or, I like that song, or say, not my cup of tea. Who cares? But it's like this thing now it seems like people in general are just looking for identity, for their own identity, right? You would think social media has given people more identity than ever. In reality, it's stripped everyone of identity.
It's put everyone in a basket. Everyone now has to fit somewhere in a basket.
Yes.
So the more freedom you think you have, it's just less than less, because you could be anything you wanted to be outside of, before social media and everything.
That's right.
Because again, you didn't know anyone's, you had an inkling, you had a suspicion, but you didn't ask, you didn't care, you didn't tell. Yeah. But, again, though, it's getting to the point, though, where people are hopefully starting to see through the bull crap and trying to see through, like, there is variety. Already trying to pin this guy as some conservative, and it's the call of what are they? What's the new Nazi,
the dog whistles,
the new Nazi group, what do they call themselves? I don't even know if they're a real
the
group
Proud Boys or something like that.
It's like, so this is the song of the Proud Boys, it's like, no, because again, if you go onto social media and you see people listening to the song and reviewing the song, I guarantee those are not Proud Boys that I've seen watch those videos and react to those videos. It's, I'm hoping that this is just kind of a start of something, just an unassuming guy that's kind of starting this, like, wait a second, you know what? They're not wrong about this stuff, I don't know. Maybe nothing will do of it. And 2 weeks from now, we won't have any idea who Oliver Anthony is. I mean, I don't, but,
right.
You just hope that there's something that just starts this conversation amongst people and amongst different, right, left, whatever you are. Like, nobody is really for you, right? I mean,
yes.
You pay these people, you vote these people to be your voice, and they're not doing their jobs. Like, it's time for people to stand up and demand better, and to make these people do better, to demand them that you get in this office. We want term limits. We want you to, we're going to vote you in. That's the first thing you're going to work on is term limits. And guess what? If you don't, the next time around, you're not getting voted in. We're voting someone else in until something happens where we do this, where we have fresh voices, and we have not just this old establishment that just comes in here and just runs everything and tells everyone what to do. I've seen, just how anyone can, like, say that this country's in a great place at this point in time. And we're way off topic. I don't know how I'm getting on this, but I just look at my grocery bill. My grocery bill is literally $50 to $80 more than it was 3 years ago. And that might not, like, for me, like, yeah, it sucks. It hurts. Maybe I'm not doing quite as much. I'm not buying as much, but there's some people now that are having to make a choice between putting gas in the car, which also is up 40, 50 bucks over what it was, right. I mean, what it was, I'm probably paying $25 more than I was 3 years ago, 25, 30 bucks, again, it hurts. Like, of course I want that money in my pocket. I'm not going to, and thank God, I'm blessed in that regard, but I'm not going to go broke if I have to put an extra 20 bucks in my car. But
you're not losing the house.
But I know plenty of people that can happen to, and that it is happening to, and now they're being forced to be on different type of assistance and these things. And it's, who is looking at this country and saying, we're in a great place. This is awesome. And you know what? Those food prices, I was telling my wife, like, it's not like these food prices are going to go down, even if Trump takes over. What do we think is going to happen? Food prices are now, like, going to go down? No, this is what you do. You get them to a certain point, and then you just level them off, and people figure, that people now have to adapt and everything else, and they're telling you not to eat meat, and you're telling you, and I believe that's a thing, because if you look at the prices of like steaks and beefs and things like that, yeah, like sometimes I pass on that because I'm like, good Lord, man, like I'm just not spending this kind of money on this stuff. But it's not like those prices are going to go back down. I mean, gas always is a fluctuation of everything else, but like foods and things like that, it's not like Hostess is going to all of a sudden be like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to decide we're going to go ahead and lower our cupcakes to, back down to pre-COVID levels, because you're not going to do that, because now you're just taking in all that extra money, and it's just I don't know what it's going to take. It's going to take more than voting Trump back into office to offset this. Like, it has to be a complete and total overhaul. It has to be people standing up, demanding that their vote actually count for something, and that people actually do what they got to do. Maybe it's people like Oliver Anthony who comes out with these songs and gets people talking and gets people motivated to do more. I don't know what it is, but we went way off topic with that, and my apologies.
Oh, no, man. You're making great points. And I'll tell you this, we mentioned Oliver Anthony. So Oliver Anthony had a quick little show he cobbled together this past Sunday in North Carolina. He had put out a message about it.
It's a farmer's market, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and he was playing for like an hour. And over 5,000 people showed up to that. He said he had played the same place in June for 20 people. So you tell me, we're in mid-August right now. In mid-June, that dude was playing for 20 people. And in mid-August, he's playing for over 5,000 people. And that show was announced on like 48 hours notice or something like that. Like it wasn't set up ahead of time. It wasn't a big thing. He threw a video out on social media and just said, hey, I'm going to be here if you get a chance. Be awesome. Stop by, whatever. And over 5,000 people. And then country singer Jamie Johnson showed up at that show and got on stage and sang a song with them as well. Right. So it's just like good things can happen when people see authentic behavior, and you don't have to agree with everything that he feels or that he says.
I think that's an amazing.
You can tell
authentic behavior, because this is exactly what you see. And again, we could be proven 100% completely wrong on that, right? It could turn out that this dude, used to be a singer in some other band, and he really is a plant. I don't believe it. Like I said, I've seen plenty of his stuff and plenty of his videos to tell, like, this guy's in pure shock of what's happening.
Yes.
But I've been fooled before. I'm not saying I'm unfoolable. I'm pretty sure that's a word. But I think that's exactly 100% it. It's the authenticity that people see, and that's people seeing that from every sect of, from poor to middle class, black, white, Asian. I know plenty of people who have learned this song, and they're not all just, right-wing Trump supporters. I promise you that they're not.
Yeah.
And it is just the authenticity of it that people are so attracted to, I think. And just him and his, his guitar up there. He's got his dog laying in the background. It's just so unassuming. Yeah. Very good point.